Here we are again. This time on the other end of the spectrum. Today we have the privilege of exposing the most dog-water designs this game has hidden away. Hidden away? No, come to think of it, most of the stuff is just on full display. It's not hard to ignore some of the schlock that plagues this game. And all we can do is beg Valve for some remodels, only for them to give us a remodel behind a paywall and an exclusive time frame. And just like at the end of the last video, I'm also going to be hearing your guys' input on this topic as well. Welcome to Dota 2's top 10 worst visual designs. Oh, and this isn't just going to be 2 minutes of criticism for each design or something like that. I'm going to give my own ideas on how to fix these characters.
Bristleback!
You know, I don't play that much Bristleback at all. You know, sometimes I play him every now and then, but not all that much, right? It's not like I made an entire, video about him or anything. And just from like the small amount of Bristleback I do play, I can safely say that Valve missed the mark with this guy. Jokes aside, Bristleback is one of my favorite characters. He has such a funny personality and is always a joy to see in cinematics and comics alike. But his design just bothers me. He's from the Rulands, right? It's like where Slom and Elds are. He used to work security at a bar. You'd think he'd wear more than a loincloth and these weird rubber boots. What even are these? He's dressed like a caveman, and yet he's wearing toed rubber boots? Now, don't get me wrong, the quills obviously make shirts impossible, but give my man some pants at least. It bugs me to no end how Valve chose to dress this guy. Beastmaster and Lycan are both from the same region Bristleback is, so why not dress him in similar clothing, some brown boots, and black pants, maybe with a splash of red in there, and a nice fur belt? I think it would work wonders for Bristleback.
Tidehunter.
Tidehunter had so much potential, and it was all thrown down the drain. His bio describes him as the servant of an abyssal god, Maelron the Tentacular. That's the god he calls upon when he ults. Those tentacles that pop out of the ground during Ravage? Yeah, those are Maelrons. He obviously has close ties, and yet Tidehunter just doesn't really have anything going on. There's just nothing. He's a big, featureless monster. There's a reason people call him a watermelon, and it's not just because of his color scheme. This tentacular god he serves could have had a lot more influence on his design. Some of his sets do a better job than his base model. If you put Tidehunter's default design in my hands, I'd give him a mass of coiling tentacles on his back, or give him the classic Davy Jones tentacle beard. Without the little lore blurb, I get nothing off of this guy.
Treant Protector.
A lot of people admire Treant Protector as a character. He's a Treebeard type personality with a love of the forest and a slew of quips.
Trees are not so good with motion,
But come on, Valve. Just look at it and tell me that's the best you could do when coming up for a tree person.
Young man.
This is the only time I'd ever say to take a page from Riot's book. At least League of Legends has quality tree characters. Meanwhile, over in Dota land, our tree person looks like a guy with some cardboard cutouts strapped to his head, legs, and arms. Treant belongs in a high school theater production. The other thing that bugs me about Treant is the lack of leaves. Most offensively, his beard of sticks is just bare of leaves. My fix for Treant is just to make his arms and legs a bit more smoothed out. Obviously not to the point where it looks sleek or as if he's carved out of wood, but give him some gnarls. Make it so his limbs don't look like they're separate from his body. My second change would be to give the guy some more leaves. I don't know if Valve skimped on the foliage to convey that Treant's balding or something, but I don't know, the lack of green has always baffled me.
Mirana.
Valve really put this hero's remodel behind a paywall, huh? And even that is of questionable quality. One of my problems with Mirana's design is obviously that her model is outdated, but my other problem with her design is how neglected Sagan is. Take Luna for example. Her mount, Nova, is decked out in armor, ready for battle. This fits with Luna's purpose as a warrior for Selimane. Mirana, on the other hand, is a princess. Mirana herself wears a circlet to denote this, but Sagan gets nothing? I get that as a princess she has a duty of protecting the lotuses, but you're telling me a royal like Mirana wouldn't have any bejeweled reins or tassels or anything for her mount? At least like a moon sigil somewhere on Sagan could help alleviate this issue. It's insanely glaring how lacking Mirana's design is. and I think that Valve could do a way better job of conveying her royalty.
Phantom Assassin.
The general theme of this list so far has been, this hero doesn't have many interesting features that it definitely could have. And with Phantom Assassin, we break that streak, because there are so many other ways they could have made PA's design better by hiding more of her features. Think of what an assassin's role should be. Get in, kill someone without being seen, and get out. Phantom Assassin has every part right except for the not being seen bit. I mean, outside of her E, obviously. An assassin's gotta be sneaky and unassuming. That's everything that PA is not. She has a helmet with a tall plume with wide shoulder pauldrons and reflective metal chestplate. I would have rather preferred Artifact's take on a Phantom Assassin. I mean, Spectre is a better Phantom Assassin than Phantom Assassin herself is. I'd fix PA's design by giving her a hood that veils her face, and some large dark robes to conceal where her body really is, giving the evasion passive a bit more believability. Maybe a different weapon could serve her design as well, but it's hard to say for sure.
Nature's ferocity!
Let's be real for a second, because I can hear the outrage already. Nobody takes Nature's Prophet's design seriously. You like this character design because it's ridiculous and memey. I can admire it that way too, but for the concept that Nature's Prophet is supposed to serve, this is a joke. Let me give you a brief rundown of NP's lore and tell me if this visual design fulfills it. The goddess of forests whispered a word to a seed before swallowing it and passing away. Over the winter, her body decayed, yet the seed remained. Once the spring came, Nature's Prophet emerged from the goddess's fallow body. The product of a seed carrying a goddess's whisper is... this? He looks like a frog. And that pathetic excuse for antlers isn't doing him any favors. This guy just needs a do-over. I'd start with giving him a nose. He needs to ditch the tacky cape and the belt and be more feral, I think. Making him an Odin or Wainamoinen type character could work well. An old wanderer with a tattered robe that traverses through the wilderland. Maybe go full-on tree person with his design. And that voice line where he's all like,
By my shaggy bark,
will actually make sense. The beard's cool though. Probably my favorite part of his character design. That's about it.
Sniper!
This segment's gonna be short since I can't stand this character both in his gameplay and in his actual character. His personality and gameplay are a walking gimmick. Him and Viper are both part of the I don't know how to play mid crew, but at least Viper looks cool. Sniper's design makes very little sense to me. He looks like a backwater superhero and his rifle is just terrible. Snipers are supposed to be hidden. Put him in some muted colors, fix up his gun so it actually looks functional, and maybe get this hero to use R on himself so I don't have to put up with this leech. Next.
Magnus.
This hero is just an eyesore. His upper half isn't that offensive, but his lower half is egregious. I'd bet half my life savings that Valve spent less than 3 hours conceptualizing this design. I find his weird loincloth thing he has laughable. It serves absolutely no purpose, just to give him something. I get that his bottom half is supposed to look like a rhinoceros, but this is just cartoonish. His hair is drawn on, it isn't 3D or anything. Not to mention, this design hardly matches with his lore. Magnus's lore reads like a children's fairy tale in nature, and doesn't even mention the weird magnetic powers he seems to just have for some reason. If you read Magnus's lore without even seeing his visual design, you'd think he was just a straight up animal or something, rather than the centaur humanoid fellow we got. I'd fix Magnus by just giving him new lore entirely. If Valve wanted to connect this character's lore and visual design, they'd need to drastically change what's so iconic about him. And I don't think that would be good.
Elder Titan.
There is no bigger lore to visual design disconnect than Elder Titan. Let me ask you, do you know what this guy is supposed to be? Have you any clue what role this goat man plays in the Dota 2 lore? I'll give you plenty of seconds to guess, and unless you've read his lore, I highly doubt you'll get this right. Elder Titan is the creator of the universe. That's right, Briefcase Man made the world. He was the origin of Radiant and Dire. So why? Why did Valve choose this to represent what is essentially God in the Dota universe? Did they get the right lore? Did they drug test the writers? I mean, Arc Warden is a more believable creator than ET is. If you ask me, honestly, I wouldn't change his visual design. I'd rewrite his lore just like Magnus's so it made some sense. How on earth did the creator of the universe get wrapped up in the Battle of Radiant and Dire in the first place? It's like a parent stooping to pick sides in a meaningless argument between children. Valve flubbed this design so badly, it's embarrassing. You already know what this hero is. As a matter of fact, I'm so sure that you all know what hero this is that I'm not even going to say his name, nor am I going to show you the actual character on screen. The amount of years this hero has been in the game without getting any visual updates is sad. Valve even used his remodel in the latest True Sight documentary, and they haven't even been bothered to implement it into the actual game. And even if they implement the remodel, I still have problems with this design. I'd make him more space-y. He came from a comet after all, but his design both old and new wouldn't tell you that. Get rid of his face, dot his body with stars, make the water a bit dark, and you have an infinitely more interesting character than what we have today. Right now he looks terrible. His face has no depth, he looks like he's made of gummy, and Dawnbreaker's left thigh has more polygons than his entire model. And that's the list. We can cope that one day Valve will get around to fixing their mistakes, but probably not, let's be real. If there's no money for Gaben, then they're not gonna cave in. However, this video doesn't end here. Just like in the last video, we've yet to hear from the community. If y'all had your own list of the top 10 worst visual designs, it'd go in the following order. No, hold on. These guys don't get cool music. 1 second.
Puck.
Punch.
Queen of Pain.
Tackies! Hyper. Elder Titan.
Wind Ranger.
Marcy.
Morphling.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the?
And it's no surprise that that guy is at the end. That hero has such a crappy model that I'm writing the script before I even get the results, and I still know he's gonna get number 1. I don't have much else to end the video with other than Valve, please give this hero a remodel. Anyways, thanks a bunch for watching until the end. God bless, and until next time.